Pizza Dude Man Guy. New Fire Emblem games are one of my biggest obsessions. Awakening was the first Fire Emblem game I really got into, and that made me excited for Fates. I've replayed these two titles so many times, I have about 3,000 hours logged in my 3DS for both. So of course, I was just as enthralled with Fire Emblem Three Houses, the latest in the series. To be honest, this game's release was a large factor in why the last couple of videos came out so slowly. That's why today, we're finally going to take a look at the game's main character, Byleth, and what they could be like in Super Smash Bros. Now, Three Houses has been out for more than a couple months at this point, but it is still a long, story-intensive game. I'll try to avoid spoilers as much as I can, but I can't guarantee there won't be any references to something you may not know. There's your warning. Byleth for Smash! Byleth is a renowned mercenary alongside his, or her, father, Geralt, former captain of the Knights of the Church of Seiros. By chance of fate, Byleth winds up getting roped back into the church with Geralt and is assigned a position as a professor for the monastery's Officers' Academy. Byleth must choose to lead the Black Eagles, students from the Adrestian Empire, the Blue Lions from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, or the Golden Deer who hail from the Leicester Alliance. Whichever they choose, Byleth becomes responsible for the safety of the kids and training them for war. Byleth is capable of using any weapon in the Fire Emblem world, and it's especially important for them to have that proficiency since they must be prepared to teach anything. Still, Byleth's specialties are in the sword and brawling, so these will make up the bulk of the moveset. In particular, Byleth wields a relic called the Sword of the Creator, so yes, Byleth is ultimately another lord with a sword. However, this sword doubles as a whip, so the skill set is very different from the other Fire Emblem characters. There's not too much to say about Byleth's appearance. Three Houses is pretty new and covers a lot of bases, so most aspects can be taken from there. I'd like to see their battle stance as Byleth's idle pose, with the Sword of the Creator held in one hand resting on their shoulder, and there's already references for things like running, jumping, and a cool sidestep using the sword. My only special request is an idle animation where Byleth awkwardly examines their free hand. This is an especially memorable pose for some reason. Let's go ahead and get into the moveset. Three Houses uses weapon durability, and additionally, combat arts that use extra weapon charges for special effects. I wanted to incorporate a system like this for Byleth that's still distinct from Robin's tomes. Here's how it works. The Sword of the Creator is a very powerful weapon. Byleth will use it for almost all normal attacks, giving them a long range and a fire effect. The fire effect is mostly aesthetic and only relevant for fire-based properties, like activating a blast box. The Sword of the Creator has 20 charges, displayed as a number rather than an energy bar. Every time you attack with it, the number goes down. At 0, the sword unpowers and loses its glow. Attacks are just as strong, but no longer produce flames or have a whip effect. This is different from how it really works in Three Houses. Unlike Robin's tomes, the Sword of the Creator will not recharge over time, only death will restore it. Basically, you get to fight with 20 cool, strong, long-range attacks, and then afterwards, Byleth becomes okay. To build up Byleth's moveset, I'm using a combination of attacks seen both in-game and in cutscenes, as well as a few moves from Seiros, who has a similar skill set to Byleth, and Nemesis, the previous wielder of the Sword of the Creator. The neutral attack is a 3-hit combo based on Sublime Heaven, the Sword of the Creator's special combat art. Here, it's an alternating right slash and left slash ending with a strong spinning slash. Each strike has a long, whip-like range when the sword is charged, and using the full combo will cost 3 uses, just like the actual Sublime Heaven. The dash attack is a running vertical slash, which has a wide range arc when the sword is powered. Forward tilt is a stab, which has a very long forward range with the powered sword. Up tilt is an upward arcing slash with a potential wide range similar to the dash attack, and down tilt is a crouched horizontal sweep that might have a large arcing range. Forward Smash is based on Byleth's ranged critical with the Sword of the Creator, just a big single whip-like slash with extra power and range. Up Smash is a double slash, kind of like Link's Up Smash, but with only 2 slashes. When powered, this move costs 2 charges, and the Sword of the Creator flails around like a tornado, catching and blasting opponents away in a large range over Byleth's head. Down smash is a spinning sword move on the ground based on the first part of Byleth's close range critical animation, except here the whip effect will activate if the sword is charged, striking with a range on both sides of the ground but all in just one motion. Byleth's neutral air is a sword spin with the Sword of the Creator, effectively being something like a midsection variant of the down smash, with less power. Forward aerial is a big two-handed sword strike, which can make a downward whipping arc. Back aerial is a two-hit combo. Byleth flashes their palm behind themselves, stunning opponents, then follows up with a slash. This, of course, costs only one use of the Sword of the Creator. Up aerial is the second part of Byleth's critical animation, a backflip with the Sword of the Creator. When powered, this move will whip in a circle around Byleth, striking all sides. Down aerial is special. It actually resembles Byleth's critical brawling attack, a diving punch, but here it's a diving stab into the ground. This move does not have a whip effect. Instead, with a powered sword, once you hit the ground, Byleth will create an explosion of flames on both sides. Byleth grabs with their free hand while plunging their sword into the ground, like Ike when he uses up throw. Most of Byleth's throw moves are based on the attacks of the appropriately named Grappler class, a brawling specialty class exclusive to Fire Emblem 3 houses. The pummel is a one-handed punch. Forward throw is a flying kick followed by a strong forward punch. Back throw is a Mario spin throw, ended by punching the opponent away. Up throw is an uppercut, and down throw is actually based on one of Saros' moves. Byleth jumps up and stomps on the opponent's face. Byleth's throws are all done unarmed and use no weapon energy. Similarly, the floor attacks are all free brawler moves as well. Forward floor is a low punch and backhand, back floor is a low punch and a backward swinging punch, and the trip attack is a jump kick and back punch. The edge attack is a rushing punch. Byleth's special moves utilize other main Fire Emblem weapons. The neutral special is called Curved Shot, named after the bow combat art. By default, it's a simple bow and arrow projectile, like Link's, that gains more distance as you charge it. However, it has a second special use. If you lean the joystick backwards while charging, Byleth will aim the bow upwards. When launched this way, the arrow will go flying into the air, gaining even more distance and clearing tall structures. Then, when the arrow descends, it will automatically and quickly home in and even briefly follow nearby opponents. It's like a much faster version of Samus's homing missiles. This is the trick Curved Shot. Just like the Sword of the Creator, Byleth's bow comes with only 20 uses. A regular shot uses 1 charge, and the Curved Shot uses 3. Once you have less than 3 bow uses remaining, you can no longer use the special shot, and once you have 0, you can no longer charge the bow. You're stuck with weak short-range shots. Side special and up special work about the same. The side special is called Tempest Lance, named after the lance combat art. It's a spinning lance attack that creates a whirlwind around Byleth. The attack has high priority and reflects projectiles, but unlike Rob or Incineroar's spins, it's a single motion with no combo. If you hold the B button while Byleth starts the move, he will dash and fly forward while performing the attack, greatly aiding in recovery and creating a moving reflector. Just like the bow, the lance has 20 uses. The regular move costs 1 charge, and the special flying effect costs 3. Once you have less than 3 lance uses remaining, you can no longer use the dash, and once you have 0, the lance loses all special effects. It's just a single spin attack that does not reflect projectiles. The up special is called Helm Splitter, named after the axe combat art. It works as a 2-hit combo. Byleth jumps upward while swinging an axe up from the ground, then dives while smashing it into the floor. Still, this counts as just one motion that uses 1 charge of the axe's 20. It's a powerful attack that meteor smashes or buries opponents caught in it, but it doesn't give Byleth much lift as a recovery. That is, unless you hold the B button at the start of the move. If you do this, Byleth will swing the axe around themselves an additional 2 times after the first rise, spinning like Link's up B before doing the dive attack. This knocks opponents on the side away and gives Byleth a higher vertical recovery range, at the cost of 3 axe uses. Once you have less than 3 axe uses remaining, you can no longer use the spin attack, and once you have 0, the axe loses its strength. You can still knock opponents down, but it doesn't smash or bury them. The bow, lance, and axe are the main weapons of the three house leaders of Fire Emblem, Claude, Dimitri, and Edelgard, so Byleth's special moves are meant to represent the three houses. Now, the down special is Byleth's trump card, Divine Pulse, based on Byleth's ability to undo time and fate itself to tip things in their favor. I really wanted to put this here, but it's tough to implement it in a way that's quick and cohesive. Here's how I'm adapting it. When you activate Divine Pulse, Byleth poses and a large negative colored bubble appears around Byleth and spreads to a large range. It somewhat resembles Luigi's negative zone from Brawl. Any interactable objects in the bubble, items, projectiles, assist trophies, opponents, freeze in place as they are, as if frozen in time. Any objects that fully enter the bubble during this move also freeze. Then, after a split second, the bubble shatters. Any enemy objects that were frozen get repelled. Opponents and assist trophies take damage and go flying in the opposite direction they were moving, and harmful projectiles get reflected. Basically, this Divine Pulse is a large AoE freeform makeshift counter and reflector that can even affect targets that haven't actually reached the user yet. It's a very powerful move, but it can only be used 3 or 4 times. On that note, please remember that any moveset concepts I do are more for effect on how they look and how they work, rather than how they're balanced. Damage output and knockback distance can always be adjusted, and for Byleth specifically, the number of uses on weapons can be lowered or raised for balance purposes. Without actual playtesting, it's hard to tell. Back on track, when Byleth runs out of Divine Pulses, their pose just becomes a classic Fire Emblem counter, but it has a much smaller window than the others and just kind of knocks opponents away rather than blasting them. Byleth's final smash is called Assault Troop, based on the new battalion system of 3 houses. Byleth spins the Sword of the Creator forward like activating a combat art. It has no whip effect, but Byleth will dash forward. Any opponents caught in the attack are put into a cutscene sequence on a grassy battlefield, where they are met by Byleth and a large group of Gerald's mercenaries. On Byleth's command, the mercenaries charge forward, trampling the opponents and blasting them away. It's very similar to Yoshi's final smash. For Byleth's on-screen appearance, the blade of the Sword of the Creator pokes out of the sky, then slashes downward, creating a portal that Byleth emerges from. Side taunt is based on Byleth's pose when activating a critical hit with a sword attack, along with a quote, "Allow me to demonstrate!" Up taunt is based on starting a critical hit with a magic attack, but instead, Byleth produces the crest of flames above their head. In their down taunt, Byleth looks surprised as Sothis appears and chastises them for wasting time in battle. Victory Screen 1 is an extended version of male Byleth's victory pose. Byleth stabs their sword downward and says something while pumping their fist. Another victory. Likewise, Victory Screen 2 is based on female Byleth's victory pose. Byleth swings their sword behind their back and says something before bowing. All is going to plan. Victory Screen 3 is Byleth's victory pose as the Enlightened One. Byleth swings their sword around and poses to one side, then Sothis appears and leans on Byleth's shoulder while giggling. The victory theme is a cadence from the main theme of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Like Robin and Corrin, Byleth's outfits consist of both male and female Byleth variations. Outfits 1 and 2 are default male and female Byleth. 3 and 4 are based on Enlightened Byleth, with lighter armor color and bright green hair. The remaining alts reference other characters from 3 houses. Outfit 5 gives Byleth a blue uniform and blonde hair, based on Dimitri and the Blue Lions, and Outfit 6 gives Byleth a red uniform and white hair, based on Edelgard and the Black Eagles. Outfit 7 gives Byleth a yellow uniform and dark hair, based on Claude and the Golden Deer, and Outfit 8 gives Byleth an orange uniform and matching hair, based on Byleth's father, Gerald. The Kirby hat is male Byleth's hair. I know that some people are going to have a knee-jerk reaction to Byleth and Smash. Ooh, another anime swordsman. Ooh, another Fire Emblem character. But you can't stop a series from growing. Fire Emblem itself keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it regularly introduces brand new casts of characters. I think we have reached a point where seeing a new Fire Emblem character in Smash Bros. Should feel almost as natural as seeing a new Pokemon, and that it should be just as accepted. Fire Emblem Three Houses is a great game, and I would love to see it implemented into Super Smash Bros. Now, as far as Smash Ultimate DLC goes, Byleth might have some obstacles. We're really not sure of the boundaries at this point. Other newer characters like Rex and Springman haven't been included as playable characters yet, but Fire Emblem is such an established series, they might make an exception like they did for Corrin, or maybe the upcoming DLC will just take newer characters into consideration. Others might prefer a different Three Houses character, such as Edelgard, to really hammer in that alternative weapon fighting style compared to the swordsman we've seen so far. But I'd argue that Byleth showcases the game as a whole much better. They're a neutral party and a main character of any route, so I think Byleth does the best at representing every aspect. Let's take a different angle on this. If Byleth is not added as Smash Ultimate DLC, they possibly will never be added. It could be so long before the next Smash game that more Fire Emblem games will have come out by then, and Three Houses could be skipped over, like 3rd and 5th generation Pokemon. Thinking of it that way, I could definitely see a push for Byleth to be included now. I think Byleth actually has a really solid chance at being future DLC. I mean, let's be honest, if Corrin is there, Byleth really ought to be there too. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think of the moveset and what you think of Byleth or other Fire Emblem characters joining Smash Bros. In the comments below. See you next time for the next character.